Let's. Oh my goodness. Well, it works. That is the most important thing. Alright then. Good evening everyone. And welcome back to F1. No, to Revolution. Season 13. And it's time for the second preseason race of Tier 3. The final preseason race before the season kicks off in 2 weeks' time. And tonight we are at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the Yas Marina circuit. Only 12 drivers tonight, unfortunately. Let's hope the numbers will be a little bit higher at the season opener in 2 weeks. But tonight we've got another race on our hands. The final preparation for the official start of the season. And Jumpy Painter is in a Mercedes, and he is not the first one to start his lap time, because that is Harry in the Alpine. I think that's his first time here in Revolution, making his debut tonight in this preseason race. So let's see what he can do in this pink and blue machine. So we'll go down into the braking zone of turns 6 and 7. Very tricky chicane, especially with the curbs on the inside. A track which is not on the official calendar. It has been before, quite a few times in fact. 2 seasons ago it had a crazy season finale with rain at Abu Dhabi. Tonight it appears to be dry, as it usually is in Abu Dhabi, but Harry rounds the final corner. His first lap time on board of the session will be 1:23.807. Let's see what Jumpy Painter can do. He's usually quite quick in qualifying, and today is no exception thus far with a 23.017, 0.8 of a second quicker. Clemens in the second Mercedes can only manage a 24.2. Touche Derry, the winner last week in Barcelona, goes up to P3. Also unable to get into the 123s just yet. Critical skills across the line, and he is very close to the time of Touche Derry. He in the 24s as well. As Crimsonic has joined just in time before qualifying has started, so good to see. And we look at Alpha Hype Wall making his way through the final sector. One corner to go, and it's the final one, as it usually is, and he crosses the line for well inside the 123s in the 23.3. Actually quite a good banker lap for Alpha Hype Wall. 2/10, 3/10 behind Jumpy Painter, who we know is very quick in qualifying, but quite often not so much in the races, although he's quick in the races, but he tends to make a mistake or two, which is why he hasn't won a race yet in this league. He has won an unofficial race last season when Melbourne got cancelled. It was a bit of a social race with some Tier 3 and Tier 4 drivers. He won that one, but never an official race counting towards the championship or preseason race. So let's see if he's going to be able to change that tonight. Afala has gone to P9, 24.5. Tier 5 driver, so wouldn't expect a top 3 or any kind. Crimsonic as well. Is he Tier 3? He might be Tier 3, I'm actually not too sure. He is indeed. Overdue Brad made his debut last week in Barcelona. And he finished in the top 10. P10 that is, but he finished the race. Currently making his way down the second DRS straight between turns 7 and 9 with a 53.6 as the middle sector split. Now into the most technical part of the lap. Turns 10 till 16. Really have to get these right, and you run a little bit too wide, you might just get yourself in a validation, especially on this corner. Very easy to run out wide a little bit too much. Flat out to turn 15 and turn 16, final corner across the line. In the Williams he goes to P9 with a 24.5 as well. Shark then the only driver remaining to set a lap time, and he has started one in the Aston Martin. And Soul Demon, he is on another lap, I think. His current lap time was only good enough for P5. The man who was on pole position last week by quite a distance, I think 7 or 8 tenths. At the moment he won't be in pole position because he's just invalidated through the final couple of corners and has to settle for P5 for now. His former teammate Jumpy Painter still on pole position, and he's going out for another lap with just over 10 minutes remaining in the session. But what about Shark then? Navigating his way through the final corners. Ideally we want to be in a high 23, a low 24 for his bunker lap. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. He is going to do 124 low. Just in between Twift area and critical skills. These three very close to each other. All with a 24.1. Both Overdue Red and Crim Sonic with invalid lap times. As Twist Harry starts another lap, and so does Harry. And Harry's up by 0.2 of a second. He will need to find a little bit more to get anywhere close to Jumpy Painter. But if he improves by 0.2, he will get himself ahead of Wardy. And Twist Harry, strong start to his lap as well. Almost 0.2 up through sector 1. But he needs to find that time because he's 1.1 seconds off Jumpy Painter at the moment. Harry then rounds the final corner, and he's going to cross the line for a 123.4. And that puts him ahead of Wardy. Good improvement in the end. And what about Jumpy Painter? A few hundreds up through sector 1. And to his theory, he is still up by just under 0.2 of a second. He will need to find a lot of time in that final sector if he wants to gain a position, get himself inside the top 5, potentially onto the second row. But he will gain at least 0.3 in this final sector. But the two-starry invalidates and pulls into the pit lane. Right, just under 8 minutes to go, and Jumpy Painter. Is he still on a lap? I am not too sure. I don't think he is. He was unable to improve, I think, on his previous lap, so stays with a 23.0, though he's still 0.3 clear of anyone else. As Wardy has invalidated as well. Mafala then into the final sector, up by 16 thousandths of a second, which is not going to gain them a position. But if they find a little bit more, then could just get inside the top 10. Out of the final corner, across the line, and does go to P10 with a bit of an improvement in the final sector. Soul Demon up by a quarter of a tenth through sector 1. It's quite surprising that he's 8 tenths behind Jumpy Painter. I really did not expect that. Soul Demon usually very strong in qualifying as well. Through turn 6 and 7. Oh, big moment on the exit. And that for sure has lost him more time, as he runs it extremely narrow on the second straight. Minimalize track distance, but yeah, that's the effect. He is 2.5 tenths down on his time. Soul Demon seems to be struggling so far. Wardy up by 2 tenths through sector 1. Already a great improvement. But yeah, Soul Demon pulls into the pit lane, unable to improve. So let's switch our focus then to Wardy. Always in the fight for pole position or for a race win. Has lost just a little bit of time through sector 2. But still up by just under 2 tenths of a second. Going into the final sector. Only a handful of corners remaining on this lap. Is he going to be able to find enough to put himself ahead of Harry? Well, he's going to pull into the pit lane, so he's not going to find any time. So he must have lost out a little bit then in that final sector. Which means he has the opportunity to try again in a few moments' time. Just now 5 minutes remaining. Solid improvement already so far for Shark through sector 1. Could get him ahead of Twisteri if he continues like this. Crimsonic on the lap as well. Three tenths up now for the Aston Martin. To the final sector we go. Can he put himself ahead of Soul Demon if he finds just another half a tenth in this final sector? Or did he sacrifice too much ERS in the first 2 parts of the lap? He is going to cross the line and he's just behind Soul Demon, but up into P6 ahead of Twisteri. And Crimsonic is not going to improve on this lap, down by 3 seconds. As both Twisteri and Harry are out on an out lap and about to start their final flying laps. No traffic in sight for Twisteri. It's going to be a clean lap for the Kick Sauer. Let's ride on board as we go through turn 1. Careful on the exit, just very careful with track limits and flat out, usually through turns 2 and 3 and turn 4 as this is, and down to the hard braking zone of turn 5. And he's already up by 2.5 tenths almost through sector 1. And good exit, accelerating out of turn 5, DRS open. 1 of 2 DRS straights. With the speed trap at the end of this one. And then a hard braking zone of turn 6 and 7. And one of the harder braking zones on this track. Have to be careful with the curb on the inside. Very nice, very tidy so far. And DRS open once more. Minimize track distance on this second straight. And hit the second sector split. He's up by 3 tenths of a second. Throw your car into turn 9 there. And keep it tidy on the exit as well. Now, turn 10, 11. And in the braking zone off turn 12. Slightly misses the apex. Hasn't lost too much time, I reckon. Careful on the exit there off turn 14. Keeps it within the white lines. Now flat out through turn 15 and 1 corner to go. Which is turn 16. You have to really throw your car in there as well. Runs a bit wide on the exit. Oh, and he invalidates out of the final corner. It would have been a 23.8. Which I think would have put him just ahead of Shark in P6. But that is quite unfortunate. He does have the time though to go for another lap after a cooldown lap if he has the fuel to do so. Meanwhile, Harry has crossed the line and with a huge improvement stepped up to the front row, 700ths of a second behind Jumpy Painter. And Shark himself is on another lap as well, up by half a tenth through the second sector. As Jumpy Painter starts his final flying lap. And so will Soul Demon and Lennon's do in a few seconds. But what can the Aston Martin do? Can he get any higher? Potentially ahead of Soul Demon. He crosses the line and he does go ahead of Soul Demon. 1/10 up in the end. And what can the Alpine do to respond? Through sector 1, not a lot. 800ths down on his personal best. The first one to cross the line will be Overdue Brad down in P12 at the moment. With around 30 seconds remaining on the clock, the Williams crosses the line and it's an improvement up to P11. And Mafala up to P7. Great lap in the end. 3.5 tenths up. And a huge improvement. What about Wardy though? And he goes onto the front row, misses out by 500ths of a second. Jumpy Painter is going to go even faster though. With a 122.8. Puts 2 tenths in between himself and Wardy in P2. Soul Demon invalidates again and has to pull into the pit lane. What about Lennon's down in P11 at the moment, just within the white lines, and stays only P11. Disappointing qualifying session there for Lennon's. And then it's Alpha Wall, and he crosses the line and he will stay in P4. Shark has invalidated, he is in P5. As Mafala has had a moment on their in lap to Terry. He is up by 2 tenths of a second, just has to keep it within the white lines. And he will be good enough for P7, maybe even P6. But he runs very wide out of turn 14. And that has lost him a lot of time for sure. Going into these final 2 corners. Can he get up to P7? No, he is not going to be able to. Slows down and has to settle for P8. Critical skills not on an improvement either. 3 tenths down on his time. Stays in P9. Crimp Sonic has invalidated. He will stay in P10. Hopefully Brad not on a good lap either. So that is the end then of qualifying. And it's Jumpy Painter on pole position. Not for the first time. And he's 2 tenths ahead of Wardy and Harry in P3. Alpha Ball in P4. Shark in P5 just ahead of Soul Demon. And Fala in P7 ahead of Twisteri in 8. The winner of the previous pre-season race last week at Barcelona. Critical skills down in P9. Just ahead of Crimp Sonic in P10. Lennon's then in P11 and Overdue Brad rounds off the grid in P12. So that's the end then of qualifying. Jumpy Painter, another pole position. Is he finally going to be able to win that race though? That is the question. We've got a long race ahead of us. And now we get to prepare ourselves for the race. Around the Jasmine circuit, and I'm not sure what the strategy is like on this year's game. Not sure about the tire wear. If it's very high degradation. So I'd expect medium to hard, like it usually would be on F124. But with this year's tire degradation, could potentially be a two-stopper, as my controller is disconnected. I'll plug it in. There we go. So, Joker Painter then, opting for the hards. No, he's not the only one. Soul Demon as well, and with their critical skills, Lennon's. So, mixed strategies already. And 1 minute time, we will go ready for the final preseason race of season 13. And then in 2 weeks' time, we kick off the season in Melbourne, Australia. A classic season opener, followed by Brazil as round 2. So great choice of tracks in the first 2 races for what will be a longer season than usual. It has been 12 over the past few seasons. It's going to be 15 races in season 13. That's something we will go through in a few weeks' time. Let's first get this race going. So it looks like Jumper Painter will be starting on the hards and Wardy on mediums. And so is Harry, so that's going to make an interesting start. Here we go then. The 5 red lights for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the second pre-season race of the season. The lights are out. And we are on the way at Abu Dhabi. It is a great start from Wardy already alongside Jumper Painter going into turn 1 as we go wheel to wheel between the 2 leaders. Jumper Painter hangs it on around the outside to remain in the lead of this race. That's already Harry trying to go for the move, but he doesn't get given the space there by Wardy. He now fights himself wheel to wheel with R5 on the exit of turn 4 and into the braking zone we go. Off turn 5, McLaren sends it up the inside of the Alpine. We go wheel to wheel almost 3 wide in the background. Bit of contact between Shark, Mafala, and against Soul Demon as well, dropping down to P7. Would we have all made it through the first few corners unscathed, but Jumper Painter remained at the lead of this race by 7/10 of a second already. Towards Wardy, then Harry and Alpha Wall once again up the inside, 2 by 2 by 2. We go into the braking zone off turn 6. Shark and Mafala going wheel to wheel on the exit as well. And Red Bull and the Aston Martin going wheel to wheel and looking to get past Harry, maybe even in front of them, both having the overspeed. Bit of contact between the 2, and that is Shark having half a look up the inside of the Alpine. Bit of contact between the 2, but they keep it pointing in the right direction, and Shark is now up into P4 as the Red Bull runs wild a little bit on the exit of turn 9, but Harry keeps his nose on the inside of the Aston Martin. We go wheel to wheel through this final section. Harry back ahead and back into P4 behind R5 Wall. Then it's Shark in P5, Soul Demon in P6. R5 Wall already got a 1 second gap towards Wardy and Jumper Painter ahead of him, but Wardy crucially has stayed within DRS range of the Mercedes. course has the tire advantage as well. Jumpy Painter, Alpha Wall, both on the hards. Soul Demon, Twisteri, Critical Skills, and Lennon's all on the hards. Everyone else on the mediums. So it's 6x6 then. Half the field on mediums, half the field on hards. Morty already looking to find a way past sooner rather than later. With the help of the DRS is closing the gap, so is Alpha Wall. And that is Soul Demon up the inside of Shark. Bit of contact between the two Alpines. Soul Demon on the exit has not a lot of space to work with, but on the exit he does get it done with the better traction on the hards. And he edges out ahead of Shark. Great move there by Soul Demon. In the background we go wheel to wheel as well between Lennons and Overdue Bread for P10. Crimsonic unfortunately unable to attend the race, could only do qualifying, so we won't be seeing him racing for the next 28 laps. Top 3 within 6 tenths of each other. Then it's Harry just outside the DRS range of Alpha Wall. A faster lap of the race to Alpha Wall, 126.5. And there's a long train of cars behind the Alpine of Harry all the way down to Overdue Bread in P11. As Jumper Painter once again finds himself with a 7/10 gap to Wardy behind him. The two Alpines going wheel to wheel into the braking zone of turn 6. Soul Demon off the inside. Goes a little bit deep, but he gets the job done. But on the exit, Harry with the better exit tries to get his Alpine alongside his teammate in this race. Once again, with the help of DRS, is going to pull alongside, and Harry back ahead of Soul Demon. The gap now towards the top 3 has grown to 1.7 seconds. On to lap 4 we will go. Jumper Painter still in the lead by almost a second now. 9 tenths towards Wardy. And he would want to get that RB out of his DRS range. Because from then on onwards he could control this race. At the moment Wardy is doing just enough to stay within DRS range. Or is he? Or is he? Think he might actually be out of DRS for the next straight. He's pushing his ERS to desperately try and get within that 1 second window. And let's see if he has got DRS onto this straight. No, he has not. Yes, he has. A little bit too early there, but Wardy, fortunately for him, does have the DRS. And can stay with Jumpy Painter. Soul Demon now finally gets ahead of Harry. Has Mafala up to P6. Great drive so far. Oh, bit of contact on the exit, and that is Shark losing out a lot on. That is Twisteri. Twisteri might have hit the back there of the Aston Martin, and then decided to slow down to let him back past, although he has overdone it a little bit because he's all the way down to P11 after that. And that is once again Shark with contact, and this time he spins half around, and now he's all the way down into P11. And I wonder if he's got damage. That was a big moment there for Shark. Meanwhile, Wardy is unable to keep up with Jumpy Painter. Look at the gap, 1.5 seconds. Going on to lap 5. Jumpy Painter in a league of his own at the moment. And will we see the Mercedes drive off into the distance towards victory? As Alpha Ball now can start putting the pressure on Wardy, who has really lost out now on his mediums. Here comes the McLaren, pulls alongside, and Alpha Ball up into second place. Medium really doesn't seem to be the tire you want to be on. As Critical Skills now is finding himself up into P6. after that chaos on the last lap. Now inside the top 6. But the gap is almost 4 seconds towards Harry ahead of him. And that is Soul Demon up the inside of Wardy, losing out another position. And down to P4. Hello Jamie. Good to see you again. Soul Demon. P3 he is gonna be. But, look at Jumpy Painter's pace now. Absolutely blistering. 2.5 seconds. Going on to lap 6. I'm doing pretty good. How are you, mate? Actually, a summer holiday for me started today. Pretty much. Which is always a good thing. Shark picks up a 3-second time penalty. And is the first one to do so. That is great to hear. Soul Demon pulls alongside L5 Wall, and he is on the charge from P6 on the grid, and he's up into P2. And now we can try and chase after his former teammate at Sauber last season, but the gap he has to bridge is 2.5 seconds, which is going to be easier said than done, though Soul Demon's pace on this game, he is quite strong, but hasn't really been able to show it in qualifying so far. Yeah, I can't wait either. It's going to be great fun once again. Not sure when the next one will be. When we get to commentate together, as there's a little bit of a scrap down at the bottom end of the top 10. That's Shark running wide to Sherry wheel to wheel with Overdue Bread. And the Sauber's up to P9. Shark really struggling in this race. Ik hou ook van jou. Has critical skills, has broken free of Mafala. 2 seconds is the gap. That's due to the DRS that top 5 ahead of him has. He's not really able to close that gap down to under 3 seconds, still 3.5. Here comes L5 Wall back ahead of Soul Demon. So it seems like these two might be working together, but well, the truth is they're not really closing the gap towards Jumpy Painter. In fact, the opposite. It's now 3.3 seconds. So it's a big scrap once again between Shark and Overdue Bread. The Williams has the better exit, while Soul Demon retakes that position ahead of L5 Wall. Oh, Lennons and Mafala now going wheel to wheel through turn 9. The Red Bull hangs it on round the outside. Will turn into the inside line for the next corner. But the Mercedes just edges ahead into the braking zone of turn 12. I think the mediums are really starting to drop off then. Because we saw Wardy struggling. Harry is, well, he's actually quite close to Wardy. But Mafala now falling off a little bit too. And so has Shark been over the past couple of laps. Look how close to Sherry to the back there of the Red Bull. And Wardy is just about staying within the DRS range of the two cars in front of him. As Jumpy Painter has gained another half a second to grow the gap towards 3.8 seconds. And here comes L5 Wall once again to reclaim that second place. As Wardy is struggling to keep it within 1 second towards Soul Demon. He's really closing the gap into the braking zone. There's a big moment for both of them ahead. L5 Wall went really deep into the braking zone, and then Soul Demon had a massive snap mid-corner. Harry gets ahead of Wardy. Soul Demon gets ahead of L5 Wall. Both Alpines moving up a position to P2 and P4 respectively. Mafala and Lennons still fighting it out for P7 in this race. Oh, look how close the Mercedes is. There's not really a gap on the inside, but he's going to go for the regardless into the braking zone. Lennons will go up the inside and he gets past. Mafala with a great move lost out a little bit of time that, but it's a good move regardless. And the Mercedes driver now up into P7, runs very wide though, and now picked up a 3-second time penalty as a result of that. Very, very unfortunate. It's 2.3 seconds behind this man, Critical Skills, in P6. Just another half a second gain for Jumper Painter. He seems to be half a second faster each lap, as the gap has grown towards 4.3. Another lap and another overtake by Alpha Ball. Back to P2. And these two have broken free towards Harry and Wardy, who are on the mediums. And Sullivan with the counter attack, just like we've seen on the past couple of laps. Means he is back into second place, but these two really are losing time towards jumping into the final sector, I think. It's 4 seconds right now going into that sector. Let's see what it will be on start-finish. As my father's had a moment, and he's dropped down the order in turn 9. Did they make contact with anyone else? I wonder. And the gap at the front, yeah, 4.5 seconds. Really just losing half a second in that final sector, as Harry now picks up a 3-second time penalty as well, presumably on pit entry, which might still be glitched on this game, I think, with that curb on the inside. But both Harry, Wardy, Fala over the red and Crimsonic all into the pit lane. Everyone who started on mediums apart from Shark going into the pit lane, and it's a two-stop at least. Harry and Wardy both out to another set of mediums. And so is overdue Brett. And Mafala is going to risk it and go onto the softs, but 20 laps on hards is going to be very difficult, so might be pitting again somewhere in this race. Push Derby up to P5, gets past Lennon's. Solid comeback drive so far. As they've switched roles, Alpha Wall and Sold him, and this time it's Alpha Wall leading into the final sector. As Lennon's and Tuisteri's drop around once more as well. Which means the Mercedes is back into P5. Five seconds is the gap between the leading pair. Critical Skills now into the pit lane. That is quite early from the hards. And Shark, of course, started on medium, so not really surprised that he is coming in. Critical Skills will once again be going for a two-stop race. He's going from hards to hards. Oh, he must be really struggling with tire wear then. I think we saw it in the previous race as well in Barcelona, where he did a double hard stint. Meanwhile, Sold him in now back ahead of Alpha Wall. Shark has come out in last P11. Just under a second behind overdue Red. 9.5 seconds, the gap between Alpha Ball and Lennon's. But Wardy, Harry and the Critical Skills were in between that before they pitted. And Wardy is quite close to the back of Harry as Jumpy Painter pulls into the pit lane at the end of lap 11. And so does Soul Demon, and so does Alpha Wall. Very close to the back of the Alpine in front of him. Lennon's will continue on, because his teammate is coming in, so he must. So is Tuisteri's, but onto the mediums. Except for Alpha Wall, he's doing hard to hard as well. Whoa! Soul Demon then on the pit exit. Very, very nearly crashing out. And they had both being jumped there by Harry and Marty with the undercut. But Soul Demon is still within DRS range of the two of them. And Harry is now 3.5 seconds behind Jumpy Painter, so Jumpy Painter has lost out a little bit, but he's still in clean air. As Twist Terry has now inherited the lead of this race, while Lennons runs extremely deep into the braking zone of turn 6. So Twist Terry back in P1, just like 1 week ago. Lennons has left the session, unfortunately. I'm not sure if he got disconnected. I'll send him another invite, just in case. There we go. Let's hope he's going to be able to rejoin in time. So Jumpy Painter gets past up at the P2. Twist Terry now pulls into the pit lane from his hearts. And what is the tire going to be on? What is the tire he is going to be on at the end of this pit stop? Good evening, Blitz, and welcome back. Welcome to the stream again. Twist Terry will put on a brand new set of mediums, which confirms that he is going to be doing a 2-stop as well. So it seems like tire wear is really high around this track, because I think everyone is doing a 2-stop. Because normally you don't pit after 10 laps while being on hards. Soul Demon gets ahead of Wardy, and is he going to go for the double up the inside of his teammate? Contact between the two Alpines, as the gap never really was there for Soul Demon. But now on the exit, with the help of DRS, some ERS maybe as well. What doesn't help him is that Harry has got DRS as well. All Lennon's just ahead of him. Oh, look how close it is on the exit. Harry now has the outside line with Lennon's into the brake zone. We're going to go wheel to wheel. Lennon's on the older tires, and Harry just about squeezes around the outside to put his Alpine up into second place. Now a car in between himself and Soul Demon. But Soul Demon on the exit gets past the Mercedes. Very close once again. As Lennon's still continuing on his hards. So good management for the tires for him so far in this race, must be said. But he still has a long way to go though if he wants to go for the 1-stop. Alpine in second and third. 4.7 is the gap towards Jumpy Painter. Al5 gets past Wardy, but cuts in front of him into the braking zone. And you could call that moving on the braking by the McLaren. As Wardy had to take some evasive action there. But fortunately for him, no damage to the front wing. As Harry and Soul Demon are swapping around. But they are not really gaining time to Jumpy Painter. The gap's now over 5 seconds again. Twist Terry up the inside of overdue red wheel to wheel we go, and he kicks Saubers up into P10. And he's got a very slow Aston Martin ahead of him. Or it was just Twist Terry braking extremely late into turn 12 as overdue red almost having a look up the inside. Close stuff between these two. Twist Terry, he's got some work to do. Down in P10 right now, and he was inside the top 7 I think, before his pit stop. And the gap starting to form between these drivers as Soul Demon pulls out from behind the rear wing of his teammate, which means he's back into P2. Is Harry going to try and go for it around the outside? Not quite, he's going to stay behind. And just not lose too much time fighting with his teammate. Because R5 Wall is right there as well. "14 laps to go, and Joe Painter still in a comfortable lead. Around 6 seconds the gap is now. Lennon's pulls into the pit lane after 15 laps, and he is going to put on a set of mediums, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end. He's going to have to do some extreme tire management. Would be very impressive though if he managed to pull it off. So it's pushed very close to the back of Shark and Mafala. Both are picking the side, left and right. The Red Bull is getting overtaken. Drops down to P9. Now on the exit. Does Shark have the DRS? No, he does not. Toasteri has, but there is Mafala coming back at him. And back into P8. And potentially going for that 7th place again. Round the outside, wheel to wheel in towards turn 9. But Shark holds his line. And will stay in P7. So there's a fight ahead of him with Soul Demon. R5 Wall almost into the wall. Goes the Alpine. Fighting it out with the McLaren. R5 Wall with the P3. I totally missed that. But Soul Demon now down to P4. Meanwhile, Joe Painter extends his lead towards 7 seconds with 13 laps to go. Soul Demon lining up a move once again to get past R5 Wall. Pulls into the slipstream alongside, and Soul Demon is going to get back into P3. So R5 Wall drops down to P4 again. Harry stays in 2nd place. And another 3-way fight here for P7. Shark, Mafala and Toasteri. With the two RBs separating those two groups. Running a race of her own. Wardy in P5, with the skills in P6. As Toasteri has picked up a 3-second time penalty. And Wardy into the pit lane after just 8 laps on these mediums. So he for sure will go on to a set of hards. Yes, he will for the remainder of this race. 12 laps he will have to do. So Bollard has been run over with Soul Demon, R5 Wall, and Harry fighting it out. Harry now under pressure. Here comes Soul Demon. He squeezed to the inside, but Soul Demon is going to get past regardless. And now R5 Wall closes the gap towards the two of them as well. And here comes Harry again on the 2nd straight. Pulls alongside, here comes R5 Wall as well to try and go for the double overtake, but gets boxed in between the two Alpines. Now has to go the long way around the outside of Soul Demon. Great move by R5 Wall on the exit. Tries to get ahead of Harry as well. Wheel to wheel will now go into the braking. So what a beautiful move there by R5 Wall. Double overtake. Gets past both of the Alpines who now find themselves wheel to wheel into this final sector. Harry on the inside gets squeezes out Soul Demon on the exit. And Harry now hits the wall there on the exit. Soul Demon down to P4. And the gloves are coming off in this fight. Elbows out with 10 laps to go. What a scrap we are witnessing for P2 in this race. Incredible stuff. Another 3-second time penalty for Harry, unfortunately, which is going to limit his chances of finishing on the podium. And Soldiman switches to the inside on the braking, and now once again finds himself wheel to wheel with his teammate in this race, but Harry has the better exit, wheel to wheel once again, the two Alpines. I'm not sure if Harry has got DRS, no he has not, which is going to make it a little bit easier for Soldiman to get ahead, and he does. Into the braking zone of turn 6. Soldiman ahead of Harry, who runs slightly deep as well. Seems to be struggling on these tires, has been on the mediums for 9 laps. So tire wear starts to kick in for the Alpine. As Derry has found a way past the Red Bull up into P6. Oh, Jumpy Painter, no! No, no! I spun out of turn 9. And all the good work that he's done in this race has become undone, because the gap now is down to 1.7, 1.8. I thought for sure nothing would go wrong in this race, but of course he finds a way to almost throw it away in this case, because he's still in the lead of this race, but only 1.8 seconds is the gap, which means he will be under a lot of pressure as the both Alpines will to the pit lane, and that is not great news for Harry, because he will have to double stack. And he will lose a lot of time waiting for his teammate. Soldiman goes onto the mediums. And then it's Harry's turn. He will go onto the hards. So, Soldiman potentially going for an undercut on Jumpy Painter. Not sure how strong the undercut is on this year's game around this track, but we will find out quite soon. New mediums compared to old mediums. Because I reckon Jumpy Painter will be coming to the pit lane in this lap as well, to exchange his mediums for maybe another set of mediums as well, because I think he started on hards. Oh, what doesn't help is that Lennons has just got ahead of Soldiman. But Soldiman will get the DRS though on the exit. Just going to jump him back ahead of the Mercedes. So is Jumpy Painter going to pull into the pit lane at the end of lap 20? Yes, he will. Extra careful with track limits. And there he goes. Alpha Wall now inherits the lead of this race with 9 laps to go. Critical Skills pulls into the pit lane as well. Mediums will go underneath the Mercedes. But where is Soldiman? There he is, just onto the start-finish straight. So I think Jumpy Painter will be clear of the Alpine. Yes, he is. So the battle is on now. Because Soldiman 1.5, 1.6. And he's got the better temperature in the tire, so he will be pushing on this lap to get somewhat near the 1 second window. Wardy gets ahead of Lennons now. And back into the top 5. Can't believe Jumpy Painter almost spotted it once again. But it seems like he's got away with it. Unless a safety car comes out of this moment, but it doesn't seem to be, as Alpha Wall was into the pit lane at the end of lap 21. Should be able to make it to the end on a set of mediums. Shark is going to continue on in the Aston Martin. And there goes a brand new set of mediums underneath the McLaren. Jumpy Painter goes past, and Soldiman will go past as well. Alpha Wall has lost quite a bit of time with this overcut, if you can call it that. He's behind Wardy as well. just behind, but he is still ahead of Harry because of that double stack. I'm guessing Harry had no other choice than to pit, and because of the tire wear, because I think his laps were 2 laps older compared to Soul Demon. As Alpha Wall goes past Wardy and will go past Lennons as well for another double overtake. In this race he's up to P4, but the gap is 3 seconds towards Soul Demon, who is still, well, he's now 2.5 seconds behind Jumpy Painter. But the Jumpy Painter will need to find a way past the Aston Martin in this final sector, which is normally not really an easy place to overtake. And Shark is using some ERS there as well. So Jumpy Painter will lose quite a bit of time in this final sector. This is really hurting him. And he is going to continue on, Shark. So Jumpy Painter must get past as soon as possible. He's not really alongside and he can't quite go for the move. On to lap 23, the gap is 1.9, 1.8 towards Soul Demon, as Shark is deploying his inner Checo Perez here at Abu Dhabi, but I'm sure Jumpy Painter will be able to get past on the next straight with the help of DRS and Slipstream. He certainly will, as he pulls alongside Jumpy Painter back into the lead of this race. So the gap towards Soul Demon is once again around, I was gonna say 2 seconds, but yeah, it's 2.5 almost to Jumpy Painter now. Alpha Wall, he is really starting to gain some time as well. His gap towards Soul Demon is 1.8 seconds. And Shark is just continuing on these hards. I wonder if he's going to try and make it to the end of the race. That would be very impressive. Soul Demon will now have DRS, I think, on this next straight, which is going to help him defend against Alpha Wall, because I don't think Jumpy Painter is in there. I don't think he's going to be able to fight against Jumpy Painter. As he gets past Shark into the braking zone of turn 6. Yeah, the gap is 2.5 seconds towards the Mercedes. And it's going to be a matter of time before Alpha Wall catches up to Aston Martin. He is already within the RS range, I think. Yes, he certainly will be, because Shark runs extremely deep in this final sector. And that's going to allow Alpha Wall to get past, switch underneath, and now he's 1.3 seconds behind Soul Demon. So in hindsight, that hasn't really helped Soul Demon at all. 5 laps to go. Jumpy Painter leads by 3 seconds towards Soul Demon and Alpha Wall, who's now within DRS range of the Alpine. And we'll be looking to get past as soon as possible. He's going to have DRS on this straight, and he might be able to get past on the next one. He's going to use this one to close the gap into the braking zone of turn 6. As Critical Skills gets ahead of Lennons, who is still going for that one stop, but look at his tires, 9 laps old. He's still going to have to do 4 more laps after this. But here comes Alpha Ball around the outside of Soul Demon into turn 9, just cuts across, and Alpha Ball is back into second place. And is there anything he can do against Jumpy Painter? The gap has grown to 3.5 seconds. 1 lap tire advantage for the McLaren. But I reckon he's used quite a lot of this tire in his charge towards a Soul Demon. Four laps to go. Lennons has retard in pit lane, so I don't think he was gonna make it. On those tires, so that is very unfortunate. Our only retirement of this race, if you don't count Crim Sonic, who didn't even start. Soul Demon has got back ahead of Alpha Wall, so that has pretty much ruined his chances of trying to fight for P1. He's going to get back ahead. Oh, Soul Demon, look how close it is. The Alpine almost pushing the McLaren into the wall. On the second straight, Alpha Wall now back ahead of the Alpine. It's a big scrap then for second place. Unless something drastic happens to Jumpy Painter, I don't see anyone else winning this race. Might be his first race win. First official race win. Although it's still pre-season. And Morty, Shark has pulled into the pit lane. Yeah, he could not make it to the end on those hards. 16 laps he did on them. And he's still going to the mediums, not even the softs, for those final 3 laps. Good race. See you later, mate. And enjoy your evening as Soul Demon pulls to the inside of R5 Wall. And once again, we find these two wheel to wheel on track. Soul Demon has got ahead, but gets a moment on the exit of oversteer, and that is going to allow R5 Wall to get back past him on the second DRS straight. Two laps to go. As Jumpy Painter got this in the bag. 3.8 seconds is what he's got towards R5 Wall. I thought Wari was going to be able to get that 4th place, but well, he's now 4.7 behind Harry. He's got a 6-second time penalty, but I swear he's lost some time over the last 2 laps. Now once again we go wheel to wheel between Soul Demon and R5 Wall. Contact between these two. R5 Wall comes out on top on the exit. But here comes Soul Demon with the help of DRS Pools alongside. Into turn 9 we will go, wheel to wheel. Alpha Ball keeps his foot in, has the inside line, and Soul Demon, there's nothing he can do, although he's going to keep his foot on the outside. Wheel to wheel once again we will go into the braking zone of turn 12. Soul Demon on the inside, Alpha Ball on the outside. But the Alpine just edges ahead of the McLaren, and Soul Demon is back into second place. And with all this fighting, Harry is now closing the gap. It's almost under 1 second, so we might see a three-way fight for second place on the final lap, albeit Harry with a 6-second time penalty. So Stoldiman, for some reason, goes defensive into turn 1. Jumper Painter ahead by 6 seconds, and I completely missed the fact that Stoldiman has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So it's probably going to be second place for Alpha Bob regardless, but now finds himself wheel to wheel with Harry. But he's going to turn that defense into an attack because he pulls to the inside of Stoldiman into the braking zone. Harry is trying to find a way past as well. The two Alpines go wheel to wheel. Not for the first time in this race. That's an optimistic move there by Stoldiman on Alpha Bob, and he's lost out to his teammate. As a result of that, now Harry tries to go the long way around the outside of Alpha Block. Contact between the two. Here comes Stoldiman up the inside, almost going 3 wide into the braking zone of turn 9. Wheel to wheel once again with Alpha Wall on the outside. Stoldiman still on the inside. And has he got that position covered? I don't think he has, because Alpha Wall is still there. Now on the inside of turn 12. Brakes very late to put his McLaren in front of the Alpine. Bit of contact between the two Alpines on the exit once again. Stoldiman and Harry coming together. Very close stuff between those two. But Jumper Painter is going to cross the line to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in this pre-season race. Who is going to finish second? It's going to be Alpha Ball on track, and it's going to be Alpha Ball off track as well, as Stoldiman and Harry almost wheel to wheel across the finish line. And Wardy in the end, because of all that fighting, has got ahead of Harry by 1.8 seconds and will finish in P4. Critical Skills in a solid P6. Mafala in a great P7. Ahead of Overdue Bread, Twisteri in P9 and Shark in P10. But man, what a fight that was on those final few laps. But well done to Jumper Painter of getting his first win in Tier 3. Finally victorious after so many disappointing races last season, where he was so close to winning. Tonight, he has done it. And that is your end result then. Jumper Painter, race winner. Fastest lap went to Shark. 5 to late to Stoldiman, and most overtakes to Shark as well. So here's your end result. Jumper Painter wins from pole position. Alpha Ball in second. Stoldiman in P3. Wardy in P4. Harry in P5. Critical Skills P6. Mafada 7. Overdue Bread 8. Twisteri 9. Shark in 10th. Sonic and Lennons both not finishing this race. A great way to end this race though, with an insane battle on the final lap. It's the action we want to see ahead of the new season. That's the end then of this race. And next up is going to be round 1 of the season in Melbourne in 2 weeks' time. So next week I won't be there. But we return in 2 weeks' time for the Australian Grand Prix. That's it from me tonight. Thanks to everyone for tuning into the stream. And I hope to see you again very, very soon. That's it for now though. Enjoy your evening and I'll see you guys next time.